So I grew up in a kind of Christian background. So my mother was Catholic. The school I went to was Church of England.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
If there is a hell and there is a day of judgment, I don't want to get punished by God for following the wrong religion or the wrong belief that could have bad consequences. I don't want to get punished by God for following if there's a purpose of life, and the purpose of life is for human beings, then surely it should encompass every aspect of human life. I was aware of Islam and it seemed deceptively simple. It was only when, after further investigation, after I went through a whole bunch of different other religions and beliefs and philosophies, I kind of bumped back into Islam. I actually tried to refute Islam as I tried to refute every other religion before that, or belief or philosophy. And Islam just kept answering me back with even more profound answers. And so I had to adopt it.
Al-Andalusi, really thank you for coming and accepting our invitation. We are very happy to have you with us. I want to start with, who is Abdullah Al-Andalusi, and can you tell us briefly about your life?
Okay, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Barakallahu feekum for inviting me on. Who's Abdullah Al-Andalusi? It's just another servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we all try to be. So I was born in London, raised in London, UK. My family background is I'm kind of part Portuguese and part North African. So I grew up in the Christian secular family background, and I kind of became Muslim at 14 years old. At about 18 or 19 years old, I got more involved in public da'wah, and eventually I ended up getting involved in public debates and discussions, giving lectures at universities, and kind of doing videos and publishing articles and things like this.
You were 14 when you converted to Islam, as you said. Can you take us back to those times? What was the reason that you started researching at such a young age?
A simple answer would say curiosity, but also it was just simply I became aware of different religions. So I grew up in a kind of Christian background. So my mother was Catholic. The school I went to was Church of England, and they had mass and communion and all this stuff. I was taught Bible stories, and like my fellow students were. But I asked the question after I became aware that there were different religions. I asked the question, how do I know that I'm following the right religion? If I was born in China, would I be an atheist or a Buddhist? Would I be a Hindu if I was born in somewhere in India? The accident of geography can't determine what the truth is. And there's different ideas going around. Well, I need to investigate for myself. And also, if there is a hell and there is a day of judgment, I don't want to get punished by God for following the wrong religion or the wrong belief that could have bad consequences. So I wanted to investigate, and it's about 10 years old. I decided to go to my local library, although I always liked going to library anyway. This is before the internet. This is when people used to go to libraries, if you remember those things. Yeah. And I used to read every book you can imagine, not just on current religions, but historical religions, historical philosophies. You name it, I researched it, from ancient Egyptian concepts of life after death to Tibetan Buddhism, to even kind of Western New Age spirituality and so on, every kind of cult you can imagine. I researched everything. I thought I'm not going to assume that the size of a belief or a religion or a philosophy determines its truth. I'm just going to see, what these different ideas are. Is there any proof for it? Does it make sense? Are there any problems I can find in it, like contradictions or things like this? And if so, then it's not the truth. So I went through that gradual eliminating process.
Did you start with Islam?